LRBAquatics.com. Hello world, how's it going? So I'm sitting here on the floor just to get you guys that nice thumbnail shot. And today I thought I'd go ahead and give you guys a full walkthrough of the fry rack. Now many of you guys were asking about this quite a while ago, and I said I would do it, so here it is, and let's get it started. So here's the fry rack system. It houses 108 containers. They're about 2 liters a piece. They're made from aquatic habitats. They are hard to get a hold of if you're general public. And here are 75 gallons. These are for the sump. So essentially it's just a continuous system with a sump filter. So a lot of old timers, a lot of people with fish rooms will do this, where they have one big sump and they hook up all their tanks. So this is pretty much the same idea. There's just a lot of little tanks for fry, which is great because you can house a lot of fry and use all your other tanks for your collectoritis. And in the sumps here, I've got the crystal red shrimp, rock pile, all that going on for them. You can see the nice flow rate. They definitely like that. It gives them that stream feel. And as far as the pump, I ended up using a fountain pump from Walmart. You can get them pretty cheap, or even off of eBay. I think that one's around 4,000 or 6,000 gallons an hour. I'm not quite sure, but you can adjust it. I would recommend getting an adjustable pump where you can kind of control the flow rate. So that's nice. You need that for the sump. So essentially you need something to push the water out, then you got to bring the water back, and that's what it does. And as it's pushing the water out, it's taking it down each one of these limbs or veins or whatever you want to call it, routes, and the water gets jammed up in there, and then I have it dripping into tanks. And I can control the rates with these valves, and I get these valves from Jemco, www.jehmco.com, and they're like a couple bucks a piece, but really handy. You just drill them in. They come with a thread tapper you can get, and I did go ahead and seal around that. And then as far as the line, I just use airline tubing for this. Now I do have it longer here, which is great for a top if you want to make a top. I cut them short up here just to see how I like it with the rippling effect and everything. But I don't really like that. I'm actually going to have to redo these. If you got it splashing too much, this happens. And it can also get over the trim and cause more splashing too. Candy Overhauls, thanks for linking up that site. I really appreciate that, and all you mods and your guys' work for doing that. But these, as far as these, so it ends up pushing the water up and through, and I use airline for those. And then what happens is these boxes have this overflow, so the water gets pushed back here into a gutter system. Now for my fish, I use a little sponge foam piece, kind of like this. It's something that you would keep in like a media filter or something like that. Just kind of shove it in there, cut it to size, and then as it overflows, it goes into this little gutter system. As you can see, there's not much water in there because I just have it dripping, and I found it's best to have it just dripping and breaking up the biofilm off the top of the water, because if not, the water actually loses its quality. It keeps its quality a lot better when it's just dripping. Now if I would have done this a little differently, I probably would have put 2 valves on here. That way I could run a line all the way down and kind of current what's on the bottom, and then also had the drip on top breaking it up. So if I did it over again, that's what I would do. Now I did mention these containers are hard to get. If any of you guys are in the Midwest area, I will be in St. Louis tomorrow at the Missouri Aquarium Society swap, and I will be bringing a lot of those. Some have already been pre-ordered. During that time it'll be like $8. After that I'm gonna have to start charging 10 because I'm already starting to run low on them. And I will be up in Chicago the weekend after at the GCCA swap. So if you guys want them, I'll be in Chicago next weekend, and then St. Louis this weekend. And then the weekend after that, I think I'm going back to St. Louis. Then the weekend after that, I'll be in New Jersey. So hit me up. I don't know if I'll be able to bring many to New Jersey, but I may be able to bring some. So it goes in this gutter. So essentially, as that pump flows it out, hits all these veins, bam, bam, dribble, dribble, bam, bam, dribble, dribble, bam, bam, dribble, dribble, as the story goes. And then it goes all the way up here. Then over here, I put another valve. Now, it's probably not absolutely necessary, but I did just to kind of control. It's kind of like a pressure relief valve or whatever. That way I can control the flow. It's actually nice because if I just had that dribbling in there, I wouldn't have the nice aeration that I'm getting into the sump right now because it wouldn't flow that much. So it is nice to get more aeration for the shrimp and everything. And what's great about having shrimp down here is all the microfauna, microflora is just going to be pushed up into all these little containers for all the baby fish to eat. So this will actually provide a lot of fry food in the long run. But then it all flows back down into the gutter and then back in the tank. I believe this is a 3-inch output, and I use a inch for the input. Yes, I believe, let's see here, inch. No, it was actually 3/4 for the input. So 3/4 there and then 3 inches on that. And besides that, pretty easy. Got me a little power station there. I always like these little power strips where I can hook up everything into. Got under the counter lighting underneath there. It was super cheap. And then I got some actual Phoenix Stingrays, or no, 24/7s, which I've never used before. Kind of nice. I was hoping they'd grow some plants. We'll see what happens. Then in here, let's see if we can find any. There's a couple of them. Got the Galaxy shrimp. Hoping they'll breed out in here. Got leaf litter, sand. This is actually dirt and sand. Indiana dirt capped with Carib Sea Eco Complete sand. And then that's Brightwell and dirt. And as far as fish, I've got a bunch of Rutus in here. Everybody's doing great. Threw a little moss in each container. So we got a Rutu, a curry. Here we got some curry killifish. These are amphicemians. They're the Gardneri curry. They spawned out in QT, so I threw the moss in there, and a couple just hatched out. They've been in there a couple weeks too. And then here's a Luminatus. We got a dwarf neon rainbow fish, 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 dwarf neon rainbow fish. Or no, this is either Picta or Dorothy. Those were question marked. Then I got the babies I hauled out from the 125 upstairs. See if it'll focus in on them. They're super tiny. You can kind of see one right about there floating around. There's a couple more. That's from the 125 high that we don't know what they are. Complete mystery fry in both those tanks, which I got more in the 125 upstairs too than some baby Dorothy. So I've got a lot of space to move fish, but I got a lot of baby fish all over the fish room. I just got to go night fishing for them. It's easier to catch rainbow fish babies when they're asleep. I got the panda pair, hoping they'll breed out again. He had a nice nest up there, but I think she tore it up, so I've got to keep my eye on them too. Make sure they're doing alright. Then more bettas. And I plan on moving the Nemos in here soon. But as you can see here, like this tank's got a bunch of fry in it, rainbow fish fry. When they're awake, they're real zippy and they'll hide in those rocks, but if you catch them when they're asleep, they'll all be hanging up top and they'll be real lethargic and they're really easy to catch. So I'll just wait till later to do that. And yeah, so there you have it. There's a walkthrough, quick walkthrough, or pretty much the full walkthrough of these aquariums. So if there's any last questions to ask, now is the time. So I want to keep this under a certain time frame, so it'll save in HD. I noticed so far it definitely won't go past 28 minutes. And have ever attended any Iowa swaps, Lucas? So no, Iowa's quite the haul for me. What is the round substrate that folks are using in their tanks? Is it Fluval product? Fluval Stratum has some. I don't know if it's round, but what I've been using is Brightwell substrate, and I really like it. All right, you'll be a vendor at the GCCA or just going to buy stuff? So I am actually going to be a vendor at the GCCA swap. I was super excited to get the call because it sold out like, I don't know, that day or hours like after they even opened it. It's real hard to get a vendor spot. But I guess somebody canceled. They called me up and offered me a table, and I was like, yeah, definitely. So I will now have a table up there, which will be cool. And let's see, you need an app and QR codes to keep up with everything. Yeah, but then you gotta set all the app and QR codes. You're just creating a lot more work. What I've been doing to actually label stuff, if you can see here, is I just put in a screw into this composite board. Another thing that I need to cover too is the shelving. So as far as the shelving, I ended up using composite board that you would use out on decking. That way if it gets wet or whatever, it'll be cool. And then I've got shelf supports, the real beefy ones. And then I also put in metal braces to keep the bending down because I couldn't quite line them up right. So there's not much bit onto this second without it, or second panel, this one, without it leaning forward. So those mending plates are actually helping keep that together. And then I did paint the bottoms of them just to make the fish feel more comfortable where they don't get all the reflective light as well. And then I've got everything lined in. This is actually just my house water line. That way I can do water changes real quick. Let's see here. Will you be bringing fire red Neos? Yes, I will more than likely be bringing fire reds. What size air pump? So I don't have any air pump in there. I'm actually using a fountain pump, which I explained earlier in the video. LRB, could you bring your yellow shrimp to the CCA meeting on 4th? I can do that. Can we meet up for containers in Chicago? Antonio, yes, we can. You can meet me at the GCCA swap for the containers. I will have them there if you want some. Here's the fire reds down here, actually. I know they're super hungry right now. Got that fire reds. They're all over the place, but you can see there's fish in here too, so I gotta take care of those. All right, starting to get past that 13-minute mark. Gotta keep this short. So I think I covered it all. I got all your guys' questions, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like, subscribe. Maybe I'll see you guys in St. Louis. Maybe I'll see you in Chicago. Maybe I'll see you in New Jersey. And yeah, I know I'll see you tomorrow because I'm gonna be doing another video. Why not? There's always something to do, you know. All right, so till next time, everybody. Peace.